This meeting is being recorded.
All right,
Thank you.
we can start.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much
Let me just
for.
stop sharing my screen.
Yes.
You have it now.
And I'll start sharing. 1 second. So while I'm trying to share, I hope you can see my screen now.
Yes, it's working.
Okay, perfect. So thank you very much for having me here today, and I'll be very glad to introduce you Panaya, in case you didn't hear about Panaya till today. Panaya is actually not a new company. We're here since 2006, and we were there for SAP, ERP, and Oracle EBS of the world. But of course, we found out that on our own that Salesforce requires something like that as well. So before I jump into this, a few words about myself. I'm Samuel Naidic. I'm based out of Germany, so I'm not today. Now is the evening here, early evening, and I'm a senior solution architect here at Panaya, and I know this product, which I'm going to present to you right from the start, from the first bits and bytes when it was born a few years ago. So actually, Panaya was founded 2006, but we found out that Salesforce requires something like that, like heavy ERP applications require. And you can see that the list of our customers is long across different continents, and it's not depending on what the companies are doing. So it's if they have Salesforce, Service, and Sales Cloud predominantly, of course, any kind of components which are based on force.com, everything is supported by Panaya. And we are, our company is focused on impact analysis. We're a leader in this, and testing, management testing acceleration, manual testing acceleration within Salesforce and other applications. So we have 7 global offices, so we're not a small company, and we are also endorsed by Gartner and Foresee. Now, why we started to go into Salesforce, and by the way, our product for Salesforce called ForeSight is because of this Forest quote, and we experienced it on ourselves with our own org, with our own Salesforce environment. That every change that we are performing there, everything that we need to do in our case, in our sales cloud, costs more and more time to spend on to do the extensive impact analysis, to understand what's going to be impacted, what's the ripple effect of the change, what do we need to consider, how much time it would take. It was every time more and more. So that's the reason why we started to develop this product, and I hope you can confirm that as well. So what?
Can I ask a question?
Sure, of course. Go ahead.
You don't mind if we ask questions as you go along?
I don't.
Okay. So if you're doing all 100% declarative stuff, with testing, how critical is testing for that?
I think while I will show you the demo, you will see where exactly we think testing is applicable there. Because what we do is we foresee the impact, and while we foresee the impact, we also foresee what you need to test and what you need to include into your quality gates. Okay, make sense?
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
All right. So ForeSight. Why is it called ForeSight? Because everything you can do with Panaya can do also before you do anything in your org by simply having an idea of what needs to be changed within the metadata. We help you with a real-time impact analysis. You just need to click one button, and then you know exactly what's gonna happen if you change to that component. It gives you the full visibility, X-ray on different interdependencies, whether they are directly dependent or indirectly dependent within the org. we help you to identify what needs to be included into the scope of change, what needs to be developed as well, not just something for the sake of specific requirement, but also for the sake of preventing issues from happening, which will save you a lot of investigation time. And we also accelerate the testing, means we show you what needs to be tested, and simultaneously we are also a test management platform which allows you to involve business users to perform manual testing in cycles like user acceptance testing, for example, optional, of course. And of course, we have, because we extract the metadata, we have also the overview on all of your components, and you can slice and dice this information to maybe take some actions to decrease the complexity of the work. Now, how does it look like? This is the core functionality of our platform, is to understand the ripple effect of your change. You can assume that a simple environment of Salesforce might consist of tens of thousands of components, and all of these tens of thousands of components are interdependent within each other. There are many relationships. So if you change something, you can expect that there are many things are going to be impacted. Some of them in a greater impact, others not. But anyway, the most important thing is to know how they are impacted, whether they are impacted, and what is impacted at all, and how much of the work is impacted. So what we do support in our analysis is we help you to analyze any components of the metadata. We focus only on metadata. We do not analyze any records, but only metadata. So if you want to tweak a single field, like in this example, you'll be able to identify this field and click a button and see what is the impact, whether it's a directly impacted component, as we see here in the first column, or many different indirectly impacted components of different levels through the whole logical path. We do support not just the fields, we do support many different types of metadata, Apex classes, email templates, as you can see here, and you will be seeing, you'll be able to see it as well later on in the demo. I will get a little bit closer to this and show you more details. Now, how does it work? It's very simple, it's extremely simple, actually. To get it running, you need to spend 2 minutes of your time. What does it mean? We create for you a specific environment on our platform. We are purely software as a service solution, of course. There is no deployment into your Salesforce environment whatsoever. We're non-intrusive, we're not changing anything there. The only thing what you need to do is to provide us the link of your org, which you would like us to analyze. It can be a sandbox, empty sandbox, because we do not extract any data records, and just providing us the link, authenticating with your username and password of your Salesforce environment, and that's it. This is the whole setup you need to do. From then on, we take it over, we extract the metadata components, we analyze all the relationships within them, we track and make relationship analysis on our cloud, and as after something between half an hour and a couple of hours, depending on the size of your org, and we have experience with huge org as well, so we don't have limit there. You will be able to work with Panaya in a way of identifying the impacts of your metadata changes, as mentioned before. You'll be able not to just understand what is the effort, what is the impact of your change, but you'll be able also to make a conclusion to include everything what needs to be changed as well into your requirement based on this analysis. And as a result, you'll be able also to understand what is the testing scope to implement our method of risk-based testing approach, so that you test only what is really impacted without over-testing or under-testing of your requirements. Any questions so far until before we go to the demo?
Yeah, just one question.
Sure.
You mentioned metadata here, and in case when more and more applications on the market now use data-driven configuration, what I mean is they put custom objects in place that are actually configuration objects for their application and things like that. They can do this in custom settings. They can do this in custom metadata objects, things like that. Is any of those also considered as metadata that you are mentioning, or you are not covering those?
So custom settings we do support, and PET we do support Lightning Web Components as well. And what you maybe rely to is the solutions like CPQ, right?
Correct. Yeah.
We are on the way to support it within the next couple of months. So we will support it as well to understand this complicated, and we understand that this is a huge challenge to get the impact analysis exactly on this kind of components, and this is what we're gonna support. But already today, we do support custom metadata, we do support LWC, so yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions? Okay, so I suggest we switch to the demo. Okay, switch over here. Can you still see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So what you see here is actually Panaya. Panaya, as a result, after this extraction, remember, it's just 2 minutes of your time to authenticate. It's extracting the metadata, no business data records or personal data. It's non-intrusive, nothing to deploy. And the result will be this, first of all, this org overview, which will show besides several widgets, which I'm not going to discuss right now because it will take us a lot of time. And what I would like to show you many values which Panaya is showing besides this. But just to name it, we show the org size, which is the number of components, complexity of the org, which is relationship between number of components and the interdependencies number. And you'll be able also to track it because every time the extraction is done, and it's done automatically according to your planned schedule, even daily. So every night it's running, and in the morning you have a fresh state of things. You'll be able also to track how much the org size is increasing or decreasing if you do a cleansing project if you want. And besides that, we show you also all this inventory of your metadata, and this inventory is also the guarantee that all of these metadata types is supported by Panaya in terms of analysis. So here we have our custom metadata, records and types, and type fields, and custom settings, and flows, and process builders if you want, web links, and workflows, and epic classes and triggers, fields, custom labels. I can go on, or a component, of course. And this is something which is supported, not just the custom components, but also standard ones and third party, as long they are not encrypted, of course. So the core functionality, as mentioned before, is the impact analysis. How does it work? You can use Panaya for your change management platform as a standalone if you want. And you can use Panaya also as a matter of part of the tool chain of tools in your DevOps environment. We are pretty much open to that. And basically, you can work with a big team on the big projects with several requirements at once in parallel, working on them and having them tracked in Panaya, so everyone is involved and can track their changes here. On the other side, it can be also tracking Jira, for example. We have their add-ons, and we have a set of open APIs which can be connected to any tool out there. The main thing is that it doesn't matter for us how big the number of people and the number of analytics which are run simultaneously, so that even in a ad hoc analysis, you can use Panaya. Imagine when you're sitting on a specific meeting where you're discussing a specific requirement, and now you're having suddenly an idea how to solve this requirement by changing metadata. You'll be able, right from the org itself, go into, for example, highlight something in the org, and from here discover it with help of Panaya within Panaya platform. It will jump into Panaya. It will search for the character stage, as I highlighted the stage, within the API name or component names, and it will find all the fitting components so that you can select which of those you are about to change. So I want to select this opportunity stage field. And it's not just about fields, as mentioned before. You can really go through any components which you would like to, Apex classes and triggers, but also custom settings and lightning pages if you want. In this case, I would like to select something entirely different. For example, a specific process builder version, whether active or not active, to understand the impact as well. So once you know what you have an idea to change, you will be able to jump into the analysis itself, which will show you a clear representation and a graphical view of the impact of this ripple effect. All right. So this is the same screen which we had in the slide. Now you see that we have it here on the platform itself. It works within seconds or within moments, as we have it here, that you know, okay, if I change this opportunity stage field, I know exactly that these components are going to be impacted directly, as you can see in the first column. I know exactly having this legend and having this colors and names, which components are going to be impacted. For example, this particular report is the one, but you'll be also able to understand all the indirectly impacted components as well. In this example, it's my demo org, so I have only 2 indirectly impacted levels, but it can go, of course, for many more. So if you have suddenly a question mark, why actually this workflow rule is impacted, you'll be able to click on it, and Panaya would highlight the whole path of the impact, starting from my opportunity stage field, which I'm going to change and which I started analysis of. It will show me why this is impacted, and also in complex components and, for example, Apex classes and triggers, you'll be able also to dive inside and see the source code, which will show you highlighted code lines which are directly or indirectly impacted by this change. So if we summarize, which we just saw for now, it will help you, first of all, to understand what is the effort which is involved into this requirement based on facts, right? You see what is the area of the impact. You will see what is the risk which is involved here, and you'll be able also to shift left and decide that, for example, this Apex class needs to be changed to prevent issues from happening, because if you're gonna deploy this solution of your requirement, it will have a negative side effect on this Apex class that will cause you later on defects. So no need to find it out as a bad surprise. You can simply build your scope of changes right from here, understanding the impact. The same, by the way, works for flows and process builders. How does it work? If we take this flow, for example, you'll be able to see in the impact details where exactly the impact is happening. And more than this, it will show you what type of the impact it is. Is it just a reference, or is it even an update, which is even more critical to take a closer look at? Any questions? Make sense? Impressions?
Yeah, I got a quick question. Does it support Lightning web components?
Yes, it does. Yes.
I have another question here. This tool, it seems, is complementary to your DevOps setup, but it's not meant to replace your, I don't know, DevOps pipelines and things like that.
No.
Am I right when I think this way?
Absolutely. This is a very important note. Thank you very much on that, because this tool can be used in a way that it's not disrupting your actual type of work. It's helping you, supporting you with what you're doing today, with what you are happy today. Of course, if you want to change your type of work, we'll help you as well, but it's not disrupting it. It's not changing anything for you. It's just helping you and saving a lot of your time. You can imagine that this detective work to understand what is impacted, not just in direct level, but also further, how can I prevent issues from happening? The whole impact analysis, which is typically done manually, is done here within moments. So it's a huge time saving. Doesn't matter how you want to use it. You want to use just this impact analysis, or you want also to track changes, or you want to continue doing your DevOps as you do today, we're adapting to everything.
Sam, I have a couple
And
of
another-
questions. Go ahead.
Oh,
Josh.
go ahead, Kerry.
Can you go through that flow again? You went too fast.
You mean the flow
Yeah.
analysis?
Yes.
Okay, sure. It shows the 3 places in this flow which are getting impacted by this change of opportunities stage.
It doesn't show you the flow chart. It's just
No.
showing.
For that, you can simply click here on View in Salesforce, and it will jump right there.
Can you click on there? I'm just really curious. Because you're right, this is save a lot of time and effort.
Never did it before in my demo environment, so it's a premiere. But you see, it's working.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
That's
just
really
one
neat.
more question.
Yes, sure.
This is very handy stuff, but now I decided to do it, and I need to collaborate this with other members in team or doers who are going to do it. Do you have button that will export these findings in a way that I can use for collaboration without giving them access to this tool?
So I have a better, even a better idea. Of course, you can make screenshots. You can also download the information. This, if you want, you can do, but we recommend to be on this tool for everyone who wants to collaborate. The reason is because there is a timely scheduled extraction. Every time the extraction is done, this analysis will be automatically adjusted to the real state of things. So if something has been changed, few components are not there anymore, they were deleted, or there are few more which are impacted, it will appear here automatically. So if you use this in Panaya portal, you have always updated state of things. But if you want to download this information, you are free to do it as well, because what we have is not just the graph view, which you can obviously take a screenshot of. You can also use our list view. You can, by the way, save this analysis so that everyone can access it and collaborate together. But in the list view, we have the capability to show you not just the information which you saw in the graph. This is obviously here as well, but it has even more information here, which allows you to understand, first of all, for example, what is the last modification date on the sandbox, last modification date on production. So you have impression right away. If production has a more recent version, then probably your sandbox is not fresh enough. So better, refresh it before you start developing there. At the same time, if you're tracking your usage, Panaya will analyze it as well and show you that. And basically, very important to note as well is that it's not always that only 46 components which are impacted. Sometimes it's 460 or 4,600. It's not, don't blame Panaya for that. It's not because Panaya uncovered this, that you have these components impacted. It's because this is the state of things in the org. We're just showing you this instead of hiding it. But how to deal with this situation is actually in the following way. Panaya gives you the capability to use set of filters on every part of information which we extract from your org from this metadata information. So if you want to filter by specific type of components, for example, you want to deal only with LWS, Lightning Web Component, or if you would like to specify by a specific profiles and permission sets, I want to focus first of all that the profile so-and-so works fine, and only after that I will check other things. Or if you want to have any set of different filters, you can set it here, and you can save it as a view and share this view with other team members. So for the sake of collaboration, this is a perfect example how you can slice and dice the information in a perfect way for yourself and for your team, and then share it with the team. And more than that, once you save this, you can really push your reviewed marks so that nobody needs to do the double job to check things which are already checked. You can leave comments here. You can communicate within this analysis so that everyone is on a fresh state of things. And of course, you can slice and dice this information by grouping and sorting things like in every interactive list. It should be the fact. So all of that is done for the sake of understanding what is in this requirement, and also to bring everyone on the same stage, and also to identify out of these components what exactly you need to change to make this requirement work, but not just to make this requirement work, but also not to produce any negative side effects.
I got another question.
Sure.
Let's say you're planning to delete a number of fields in an object. Does it identify, and you've deleted one or two fields, they're not permanently, they're in the trash or whatever Salesforce calls it. Does it also look at those fields too and identify them as they've been deleted?
Yes. So first of all, you should use Panaya to analyze these fields before you delete, because
obviously,
this is the perfect use case for Panaya. But after that, if you see that if these fields are deleted, you will see it in the graph that they are not identified as a impact anymore. All right.
One other question is, as a consultant, can you buy this package for all your clients, or how does that work? Like I could see it if you're in-house and you work for one company, but as a consultant, you're working for multiple companies.
So we have packages for our partners. This is, we need to, of course, talk about it. And yes, there are packages like this.
Okay. That's all I need to know.
Yeah, you can. Yes, you can.
I had a similar question, actually. So Help Systems, the company that I work for, I basically oversee 7 different Salesforce orgs, following acquisitions that we make. So how would the pricing model work in that case?
I would definitely recommend to get in contact with our sales team, because I'm not the sales guy. So I'm not eligible to talk about prices, but I can tell you how we can help you in your sales process. First of all, we do these extractions for your customers free of charge, so that your customers can see what they can gain from Panaya, see on their own live examples from their own org and own components. And then we talk about prices and talk about conditions and packages. Definitely, you can slice this solution into different packages which are relevant for your customer. And we support you with, first of all, extracting the components, extracting the org free of charge, and also helping you to present to your customer how this information can be used productively, and how the customer can gain productivity and values from this product.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. For the sake of time, I will not show you how to save this. It's obviously working, but I prepared it before. So I have here a few requirements, as you can see here, analysis which were saved before, and I have this exactly the same analysis with the same components which we took, just to show you how it looks like when it's saved. Once it's saved, you have the quick overview before you can jump to the graph view, which we saw already. You have a quick overview, what is impacted, which components are impacted directly, indirectly. So you can really click on each and every number over here, dedicated number, and it will guide you to already pre-filtered list view or a graph where you can see exactly what you wanted to see. And besides that, as mentioned before, out of this list, out of this graph, you can take out components which you think you need to change for this requirement. And these components will be saved over here. So we call them changes. And let's assume out of this analysis, we decided to change these 6 components. Some of them are approval processes, app classes, across the board, fields, process builder. So what happens is next, besides all the different functionalities like creating stories and engaging people, this is obviously here, but you don't have to use it in Panaya, of course. Most important thing to show here is, based on what you decide that needs to be changed, Panaya would create a list of components. We call them entry-level components, or entry points, something which you can test and execute. We create dynamically the list of all the components which you recommend to be tested. This is what we call risk-based testing approach. Doesn't matter if you use a external testing tool where you do your regressions. Doesn't matter whether you do it with Excel today, we will help you to identify what needs to be tested. This is the reason why we implement this risk-based testing approach. So you really focus on the most important area in the org, which is the area of your risk. So as you can see here, based on the 6 components which we selected to be changed, there are 33 components, entry-level components, which Panaya recognized to be tested. And from here, we can really work with your experience, of course, with the human experience now, because, for example, maybe this and that report, yes, they are impacted by this change, but nobody uses them. Nobody will lose if they are not working. So let's take it out of scope. Let's not lose our time on something which nobody needs, and let's focus instead on most important things, like, for example, the CEO sales dashboard. Nobody wants to get it corrupted, or on this approval process.
So you said something really important at the very beginning of that last thing. You said, can it tell you whether it's been used or not? So for example, let's say there was a report there that no one's ran in the last year or something. Like, does that identify that type of stuff too?
Yes, this information is extracted from Salesforce. Typically, it's always there for reports. Of course, for other components, you need to activate the specific usage tracking, which I think costs money by Salesforce. But standard usage tracking for report is available, as you can see here, with our simple demo org. It's there.
Okay.
Make sense so far? Any questions? Everything's clear?
So far, so good.
All right, so far so good. So this is the impact analysis. I told you in the beginning, it's not just about impact analysis with what we have. Bear in mind, if you would like to work with Panaya, you can slice these packages into different different needs for specific customers. But of course, we have also test management platform, which is a proven test management platform for accelerating the manual testing, already from our times with SAP. And you know that, probably heard that the testing in SAP is very extensive, very important. So we bring all our testing intelligence and experience also into the Salesforce world. So here, you'll be able, besides the fact that you find out what needs to be tested, you'll be able also to manage these tests in a way that it's helpful to decrease the bottlenecks of manual testing. What is manual testing? Manual testing is when you need the business users, usually, when you need the business users to run through their processes, which shouldn't be automated, because the sake of user acceptance testing is to let the users run through the process and accept that the new change is successful and everything is working fine. So how do you work with this? First of all, if you have testing scripts today, you can upload to Panaya. We have a test box where you can simply drop inside all your files, whether Excel files or Word files. It's because if you have already testing assets today, you don't need to create them new with Panaya. You can use them and reuse them again. If you don't have them, you can simply generate new test plans. How does it work? Let's assume this approval process needs to be tested. You can simply click on it and identify if there is already a test which is assigned to this out of Panaya library, whether it was migrated to Panaya or generated or created new, you can assign it here. So if there is a test in your library, you can simply link a test by searching for something, searching for through your testing library. If there is no tests which are fitting to it, or at all, no test at all in your library, you can generate a new one. Doesn't matter how you do it. Next time, Panaya is learning, and next time this approval process appears again as something recommended by Panaya to be tested, Panaya would remember that in the past you used already few tests to test this particular process, and will suggest you to use these tests again. Okay, so Panaya learns from your behavior what tests assets you use for the specific approval process and recommends you to use this test again if you need to test this process again in the future. Now, how these tests look like. I will show you an example. We designed these tests to make the onboarding of the business users as short and simple as possible. So as you can see here, these tests, besides the way to describe a lot of things if you want to, these tests look like a simple Excel file. There are several steps which can be defined. Each and every step can be assigned to a specific user so that once you assign the user, he or she will get email notification automatically. The user will click on the link, will get to this view, see his or her name in front of it, and simply click on this play button. Why? To make the life easier. I will show you how it works, because this is where Panaya testing recorder comes into the stage. Because these Panaya testing recorders saves a lot of headaches and overhead of testers. Using this recorder, there is no need to report anything, no need to explain how, what, and where it was tested. No need to explain which issues appeared and how to analyze these issues, because by simply start the recording, you can go ahead as a tester and do whatever needs to be done. You can, I don't know, it's simply go ahead and start and create any log a call, for example, here. Okay. All right, it's platform agnostic, so it doesn't have to be a Salesforce. You perform end-to-end tests in Panaya, because Panaya test management itself is application agnostic. You can even put a step of run to the printer and check the printout. And after the fact, while this recorder is blinking, the tester would know that this is the test recorder is running. You can create a defect which will have the documentation of how to reproduce this defect, or you can simply stop it as a tester. The only thing that you need to decide now is whether you're happy with that or not, and that's it. The tester doesn't need to inform anyone, doesn't need to communicate to the next step owner. Everything is done automatically, because it's not just that the status passed through the whole dashboards through all levels, but it's also giving you the capability to see full documented, recorded test evidence, which will show you what was clicked, what was typed in, how the org behaved. So you have this full documentation where you have the access via the direct link, or you'll be able also to download as a Word, a PDF file, which you can use the way you would like to. It can be something which you use for your training materials to introduce new processes or new activities, or to train your new employees and your colleagues. It can be used, as mentioned before, to analyze the defect. No reason anymore to endlessly interview the end user, how exactly he or she got to this specific situation where this defect appeared, because before the user, nobody got this. So how exactly it happened, what was clicked, and what exactly steps to follow. Everything is here. No need to bother the user again. And besides that, in my own experience, I can tell you, once you have this type of documentation, first of all, the knowledge transfer, if you're working in big projects and there is a big fluctuation there, it's gold here, because now once you documented how the business users are working, you don't need to explain again and again. You have the documentation which everyone can use. And besides that, if there is a new requirement to be implemented, having this documentation in place, which shows exactly how the end users are working, the developer or the one who is designing this new requirement will make less errors and mistakes by clearly having a vision and understanding how the business users are working without bothering these business users. I talked a lot about this for now. Any questions?
What's the time frame for a Salesforce administrator or developer to learn this tool, to really use it efficiently?
So it's a great question because as part of our package, always a customer success manager is always assigned to every customer of Panaya. His or her task is to create the training plan, and the training itself takes no longer a couple of hours for someone who wants to understand the full package of what Panaya is doing. Could be test users, it's not more than 1 hour. The setup, as you can see, is extremely simple. So if we take everything together, a couple of hours, and you are ready to run.
Wow.
And another question, all my, I need license for every single QA person or every single business user that's going to be using the tool to perform any action on it. Is this correct?
Yes, someone who wants to have access to this tool will need a user license, right? We have, by the way, the packages which we're selling, which are including already a number of users. Of course, you can buy on top of this package. You can buy additional users, but the packages themselves already including the users, number of users for this package.
Sounds good. User adoption is challenge on the market anyhow. It is something that very few people talking about, but it's not technology that is breaking, it's people that not doing what is expecting. But what is your tips and tricks to kind of,
I can tell you about the test.
Really good reason to put all your team on something like this to save money down the road, but you need to spend money and time up front to be saving at the end. Blah blah blah. What they say.
I can tell you from my experience, and I saw already a lot of our customers in different areas in Salesforce, SAP, and everywhere. First of all, never disrupt everything at once, and never disrupt things which people get used to and to like to work with. To have a better adoption, always help the users to solve something what they cannot solve today. For example, it's not needed to acquire everything which you saw today in Panaya at once. You can start with impact analysis, which is obviously a pretty rare thing. The way we do it is pretty unique in the world. So start with the impact analysis for those who are interested in it, and show them how the ad hoc analysis can work, which I showed you today. I didn't show you the very complicated way how to work simultaneously with different projects and different people and many requirements. It's all possible within Panaya, but the pretty straightforward way to adopt the usage is to show that you can just click on the button, analyze your component, see what's impacted, and use within your convenience zone. Okay. Same for testers. What do testers gain from this? Usually, the testers, the end users, which I have in mind, are those who don't like to test. This is not a surprise. The business users are not testers professionally. They have their daily jobs, and tests is an overhead for them. So it's not a surprise that they don't like it. And this is the reason why it's a bottleneck. But if you explain to the users that the reason why I use this tool is not to have this whole bureaucracy of documenting manually, sitting hours together explaining why it's not working, sitting hours to explain what exactly you tested and how you tested it. This will help you also to motivate the users. And this is, according to my experience, the best motivation to adopt the tool usage.
Yeah, I agree with you, Samuel. It is
but it's hard, of course,
hard game to go. How close you are to end of your presentation? I just want to manage time.
Yes, the 2 minutes are absolutely enough. I just wanted to show you one last thing to connect the dots, right? We started with analysis and we ended with the testing, but everything is not so complicated. Everything is situated over here. It's our impact analysis where we started to analyze and having the graphical representation. It's here where we started to build the scope of our changes. It's here when we identified what needs to be tested, and it's here where you see whole tests which you're using for these specific requirements, and all the defects which appeared here. So you have everything in one place if you want to, and you have also on each and every node of this tool, you have different dashboards which are showing you, like in this case, progress of your tests and defects. You have also from the other side different dashboards which give you the overview on any level of your interest. If you are a project manager or if you are IT manager wants to see the whole overview, it doesn't matter. You can design dashboard because they're customizable, adding and deleting widgets, saving new dashboards, which will show you everything you want to see. The risk of the project, the progress of the testing, the actionable insights, what might be helpful to do, and many other things which you can design together with our customer success manager, who can obviously give you more insights on specific requirement that you have to have a dashboard with. So everything is connected together, and you have the full knowledge of what's going on. That's more or less what I wanted to show you today.
Thank you. Before I stop recording, any more questions for Samuel?
I like it. It's very thorough. It's covering a lot.
So if
remember, it is something that is very, very nice. When I saw it first time, I thought it's valuable for us to learn more about it. Only challenge is market. You know, how many clients you can onboard on something like this easy. I think this is just my 2 cents on technology and people and market. Okay, thank you, Samuel. Anybody who wants to get in touch with Samuel is welcome. You can do it through me or directly with Samuel. I will post in user group details, and we go from there. Thank you, Samuel. I really enjoyed your presentation.
Just to remind you again, don't hesitate to address us if you have a customer where you want to try to, or yourself want to try to work on this. We have a set of free trials, and we have also the capability to extract the metadata of your clients and help you to present it before even talking about money. That's it.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you.
Welcome.